But I won't forget the good times.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to night 2 of Question Time. We are so sorry for the delay that we have had. We were just experiencing some technical difficulties, but I'm glad to have you behind the screens and also over there in Rubik's. I'm Amy, your Vice President of Activity, and I'm really excited to be introducing this evening of debates for the Activity Zone. Tonight you'll hear from candidates for the Activity Zone Committee, Surrey Society's Chair, Team Surrey Chair, and VP Activity. Between the debates, we'll be joined by our wonderful team of pundits who are our colleagues from Surrey Sports Park and also previously elected officers. Without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Rubik's, where we'll begin the debate for the Activity Zone.
3, 2, 1, cue stick for chair.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Society's Chair
Well
debate,
done.
Roshni Bambra.
Society's Chair. Please welcome your candidate. Okay, let's get started. Please introduce yourself and why you are running for this role.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Usha, and I'm studying Masters in Food Science. People should know me because I am dedicated, passionate, and committed to serving university community with my experiences as course representative and treasurer for the Telugu Society. And your vote for me is vote for the positive change and progress.
Okay, so I'll start with the manifesto question. You've stated a desire to work collaboratively with university administration to address challenges. Can you give an example of a current challenge societies face that you would bring to the administration and how you would propose to solve it?
So first thing with the manifesto, I like to bring the marginalized societies to the first place by taking the feedbacks and establishing a regular community meeting and taking the feedbacks and putting them into the implementation. So I like to communicate with the professors, like community persons or the university members or the staff members, and put these marginalized societies into the first position so that everyone gets participate in the communities and societies.
Okay, so moving on to a general question now. In previous years, such as this one, a single candidate has run unopposed for the role of Society's Chair, and historically, this has not been a highly competitive position. Firstly, why do you think this is? And secondly, do you feel the union is doing enough to highlight and attract students to roles such as Society's Chair?
Yeah, I have went to the previous year's candidate manifesto. I think Amy as a previous society chairperson, and I went through her manifesto, and so based on it, I want to implement some of the manifestos in this current year. As I said before, the marginalized, most focusing on the marginalized societies, and also organizing the inclusive event and hosting and also clubbing the events, clubbing the e-societies so that they can organize one event together so that everyone knows about the different cultures and diversities.
So back to a manifesto question now. Your manifesto mentions aims to provide resources, guidance, and training opportunities for societies. How do you plan to assess the varying needs of different societies and tailor these resources to be most effective?
So providing the resources and the guidance and the training opportunities can be done by helping them in the funding and even planning, resources, and the promotional support to help student societies. And I will offer assistance with the administrative tasks such as room bookings and equipment rentals, also like cameras and so on, at the discount price or on the free price, and also the financial management.
So back to a general question now. The role description for Society's chair mentions working with VP activity and VP community to bring society leaders together through events and showcases. Firstly, what benefits as well as challenges can you see this bringing? And secondly, what steps will you take in ensuring effective communication and teamwork across all parties?
Yeah, thank you. This was a nice question. And so the society rep role description, like it is a main role actually. Everyone thinks it is like not a very important role, but it plays a very important role, particularly in the education system, because society is also very important. It is a part of the education because it tells about the cultures and diversities of different cultures and brings all the students together and gathering feedback from the different societies and experiences, like putting all those things about their experiences into the implementation, and by regular feedback and making the decisions, application to the new societies, and making the new societies with helping, supporting them in the financial, and taking and appointing one of the committee members and involving them into our student union so that the marginalized individuals of the societies can come forward.
Okay, we're going to switch things up a bit and move to a game round. So this is called Rapid Fire Scenario Responses. In this round, I will give you quick, hypothetical scenarios related to the role of Society's chair, and you will have to give me a quick response of your action plan. This round will aim to test your quick thinking, problem-solving abilities, and how well you align your spontaneous decisions with your manifesto commitments. So I'm looking for quick responses. And the first one is a funding dispute. Two societies claim they were promised the same funding pool for overlapping events. How do you resolve this?
So funding, like some of these societies, they don't know about even the funding. They're not even getting the proper funding from the university to run the society forward and plan an event. So first thing, for the new societies, before the planning to new societies, they have to attend some of the sessions. So I want to plan some of the events or the sessions for the new societies, helping them in the funding and all those, the financial things, so that they will get a benefit of it, and so that they can plan the event properly, and they will get a financial support from the university.
Okay, perfect, thank you. The second one is an inclusivity complaint. A society member feels their society is not inclusive enough in its activities. What is your immediate response?
Inclusive, can I please repeat the question?
Yeah, of course. A society member feels their society is not inclusive enough in its activities. What is your immediate response?
So the students thinks because maybe the society events are not accessible to the students, because it can be because of the transportation, or it can be because of the menu, or because of the many of the students, they even work as a part-timers. It's very important because for the international students coming from the different countries, it's important for every student to work as a part-timer, because as a lifestyle is very important. So maybe because of the menu and the location and the dates they are booking. So before they book an event, the society persons, they have to take a feedback or a poll from the society members or from the group of a society, so that the people can attend the event properly.
The next is an event clash. Two major societies want to schedule their events on the same day. How do you handle this?
So if the societies are willing to co-host and joining the event and clubbing the events or societies to organize one event, that would be very better. So I prefer and I support that one.
Your final one is a resource shortage. So multiple societies have events planned, but there's a sudden shortage of available venues. What's your solution?
So the venues, depending upon the venues, I think the venues can be done by the access of me or mailing or room booking and the resources. So as I said before, the venues, the place where they book the event, that should be accessible for all the students. So they have to take an opinion from all the society members rather than deciding only the committee members.
Okay, so back to a manifesto question now. Well done for that round. Implementing transparent communication channels is a key part of your manifesto. What platforms or methods do you propose to use for this communication, and how will you ensure that they are accessible to all society members?
So I like to use the media channels like our university websites, social media, and as I said before, by conducting a regular meetings to provide an update and address question and answer session directly, and also through the Microsoft Teams for the real-time updates and discussion. And I'll also document all the communications in the decision-making process, making a documentation of it. And also I like to establish a clear guidelines and the procedure for accessing information and resolving disputes. We will responsive to the inquiries and also concerns which are raised with the society leaders and members.
And then your final question. One thing the current society's chair mentioned in their manifesto was improved and streamlined communication. Your manifesto mentions a similar point of implementing transparent communication channels. What do you think was not achieved in terms of communication by the current society's chair that you will look to succeed at?
I think this question is based on the same previous question. So as I said before, the AMI was a previous society chairperson, and I want to continue the same responsibility, but the further implementing it, like I said before, by documenting all the communications and also taking the forums, online sessions, the Microsoft Teams, not only the committee members, but also I want to elect some of the person from the community so that the marginalized individual can come forward and involve in the activities. That would be better.
Well done. That concludes the debate for the Society's chair. Well done to our amazing candidate. Thank you very much, everyone.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Activity Zone debate, Albi Faso.
I'm gonna get it. All this money from me, baby, you're gonna regret it. I can understand why you can't free yourself and let it go.
Welcome to the debates for the activity zone. Really sorry for the late start. Unfortunately, I am in the difficult position of having to let you know that all the candidates for this position are unable to appear for question time this evening, so it's not much of a debate. For everyone's information, we do have valid candidates. There's Sharon, Hanan, and Shubham, who will appear on the ball out when voting opens, but are unable to attend the question time tonight. Please be aware the candidates' campaigns, consider them when you're voting, and check them out at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. We'll be back shortly with the debate for the Surrey Society's chair. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for VP activity.
Okay. I'm Georgina Agnes and I'm Director of University Sport at Surrey Sports Park.
I'm Charlie Maskell. I'm the Sport Participation Officer in Team Surrey.
I'm Alex Hughes and I was VP Activity in 2018-19.
My name's Amy Obi and I'm the current Vice President of Activity.
Great. So I thought that was a really interesting societies debate. I think it's really important that we have that chair to really control all these societies and to help support them. What kind of challenges do you think societies face being signatories and non-signatories?
So the difference between signatory and non-signatory is it's about being responsible for the society or not. So taking on a signatory role, you are taking on a lot of responsibility. If your society does something wrong, you could be at a disciplinary on behalf of your society, and you're also responsible for making sure that you're upholding the union values in terms of the activities that your society takes part in. I think in terms of a non-signatory role, there's a lot more flexibility in what that role can be, and I know that when I was VP and throughout my university sort of time, there were lots of societies that created roles for people that were really interested in getting involved. So you might have someone doing a sort of social role, or you might have someone doing a specific role about well-being. And I think those are really, really important roles as well, but there's just that distinction. And in terms of the value that it brings to you, whether it's signatory or not signatory, it really gives you that responsibility to look after something that you care about and to organise events for it and to be really invested in something that you care about.
Charlie, would you like to explain more about your involvement with societies and how you've really helped support them through that Team Surrey route?
Yeah, so it's important to highlight that sport and physical activity is open to anyone. So although Team Surrey is mostly about the clubs and we look after the 45 different clubs we have at the uni, any societies can get involved in it. So whether that's through Surrey Moves, so quite a lot of the different societies can create their own groups on there and organise different fun challenges and socials within their society in order to get people more active and utilise the platform in that way. Equally, in our intramural leagues, there are a lot of societies that enter every year and are really fierce competitors. I know that there's a huge bout of successful teams that play in our Wednesday 11-a-side league, and it's taken very serious. There's selection processes and all sorts, so it is really interesting when I first started to see how serious it is taken by the societies, but genuinely anything's really open to all of them, and I've been to several society stand-ins, and I've had their sports officers reach out to us afterwards and really keen to do lots of different events, and most notably recently we've had quite a few societies reach out to us and I've supported them in organising their events, whether they're ones that have just gone or ones that are going to be coming up soon. So yeah, sport and physical activity is open to all of them, and they can reach out to Team Surrey at any time to get that support.
Absolutely. I think that really encompasses that Team Surrey is all about being, whether you're a club or society, it's all under one umbrella, and it doesn't matter that you can always participate no matter what. So I think that's always really important. Amy, what do you think were the standout societies this year and your involvement with them?
Wow. There's definitely quite a few. So many societies just give me so much joy for different things that they do. I mean, most recently, the One World Gala was just an amazing event to see societies showing off their culture. I will have to go with Sons, which is the Nepalese society. I think they're an amazing group of people, and the events that they put on and the culture that they have just within that society, I really think it's amazing. So yeah, I'd have to go with Sons.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Gina, what's been your involvement with societies, and how can we really encourage more people to run for those signatory roles?
Oh, I think it's massively important. You know, participation at whatever level, whether that's in society, sports clubs, is something that we will certainly want to support going forward. We also all know the benefit of being physically active with mental health and being engaged in creating a community. And I think societies play a massive role in creating communities within university. And like you said, Joe, Team Surrey is everyone. We want everyone to be part of that. So any way possible. And obviously physical space at Surrey Sports Park, we can help in that as well. So I think, you know, there's lots of ways, like Charlie said, that actually we can really encourage people to be engaged. And it's massively important for the development of students and their academic, postgraduate life, and actually having these experiences. Volunteering, being on committees is a huge part, which plays a huge part in employability going forward.
Absolutely. I think you highlight a really common theme that, like, sometimes societies really define certain study types, for example, postgraduates, undergraduates, mature learners, and it's really important that we have societies to really reflect that. Thank you very much for your conversations. Welcome back to the debate.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Team Surrey Chair Debate, Robin Whitney.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Team Surrey Chair Debate. Please welcome to the stage our candidate.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for Team Surrey Chair.
If you could start by just introducing yourself and why you're running for this role.
Hi, I'm Millie, and I'm running for Team Surrey Chair this year. I'm a second-year law student, and I really just got into Team Surrey because I've already been a part of snow sports on the committee, and I'm also activator for snow sports this year, and I just really loved the vibe of Team Surrey, so I wanted to get more involved than I already was.
Brilliant, thank you. So initially you didn't submit a manifesto, so can you tell us a little bit about what you'd like to achieve as Team Surrey Chair?
Yeah, of course. I didn't originally submit a manifesto because I was told in the candidate briefing that it was optional, and I didn't want to submit a half-hearted, manifesto with not a lot of points structured. I wanted to kind of release feedback and then gain feedback when I was kind of structuring my points. So I didn't really want to, kind of do it half-heartedly. I wanted to make it like a well-rounded point and know what I was kind of going for. So yeah.
So what do you understand the Team Surrey Chair role to include, and how do you think that will fit around your other commitments?
Yeah, so I understand Team Surrey Chair to be kind of as basic as possible, to be like a bridge between sports people in the university and obviously Team Surrey, which is its own separate entity within Surrey Sports Park, and kind of making sure that everyone's represented and, just represented really within, our union. And I plan to put it alongside my studies. Obviously, everyone's very apprehensive because law is a very full-on degree. But I have this year managed to really divvy my time well between development sec and, my studies. So I plan to kind of continue that time management, taking time away from my studies, but then also getting back into my studies as well.
Brilliant, thank you. And if you could achieve one change as Team Surrey Chair, what would you want it to be?
So this year with Team Surrey Chair, obviously Joss has done a very, very good job. But I kind of want to obviously add on to what he's achieved this year, but I also want to expand with the mental health side to sporting. Obviously, it's very kind of like not really ignored now because it's more mainstream, but I do want to kind of create a forum for, you know, for sporting people in particular, just because obviously all mental health kind of aspects towards the uni, they can be really overrun, and it's just another outlet really for other people to go, and it kind of makes things less kind of oversubscribed for other students. So if we had a separate kind of like sporting mental health campaign, then people could go separately as a sporting person to Team Surrey through me, obviously, and through our activators. I'd also expand on the buddy system, using our activators within, you know, our clubs to kind of make everyone feel really included and welcome, you know, and just trying to make sure everyone is represented as possible.
And just for those that don't know what the buddy system and activator system is, could you just go into detail about what you understand that to be?
Yeah, of course. So the buddy system, I'm kind of familiar with it because I was an activator this year. So the buddy system in basic terms is where you have a representative of a sports club, which is the activator. And if someone is feeling a little bit apprehensive about joining the club, obviously within sports, there can be stereotypes and cliches about how cliquey groups can be, and obviously we try and really avoid having those stereotypes associated with any sports at Surrey. But if there are them, people can be really apprehensive about joining, even though they are really passionate about the sport. And we don't really want that to get in the way of people's passions. So having a buddy system, you can contact the person in advance before the session, get in touch and kind of arrive maybe like 5-10 minutes early, get to know, you know, who's senior, who's in your committee, and then basically go from there really, just accounting to everybody rather than just as a general sports club.
Brilliant, thank you. And we kind of touched on this a little bit, but as a key link between the union and sports teams, how do you anticipate it managing a high level of communication between the sports clubs and your studies as well at the same time?
Yeah, of course. So I kind of had this idea, and it's currently in practice. I created kind of like a Google Forms, really easy to fill out, and I'm sending currently to all sports societies. And it's just a chance for people individually and as a club to give feedback on what they liked, what they disliked, and what they wanted to see more of. And then any new ideas that, you know, I, as Team Surrey chair, could take on. Obviously, I'm not going to know everything, you know, there is to know about the role. So having the students' feedback is so important. And obviously maintaining it with my studies as well, you know, it is a balancing act, really. And it's definitely a trial and error, but I feel like I've gotten kind of familiar with it this year, so I aim to do it better next year.
Brilliant, thank you. So on what was submitted to the website, you stated that the partnership between Team Surrey and the SU is flourishing. Yeah. What would you say is one thing that you want to ensure is maintained and one thing that you feel could be improved upon?
Yeah, of course. So maintaining within Team Surrey, I think the charity and fundraising aspect is really important. Obviously, we've got a really good fundraising and kind of like charity scheme going on. We've got Disability Week, we've got Refreshers and Freshers Fair where we advertise obviously all of our charity. To maintain that aspect, because I really do think it's important that sports people kind of have this kind of aspect where we represent our community, and obviously we want a well-rounded sporting environment, and obviously charity is a key link, and obviously create things that aren't kind of happening this year. I did want to do the mental health campaign and obviously have an outlet for sporting people to do with mental health. Obviously that's on the rise with the awareness. I just wanted to promote more awareness, have a forum where sports people can chat and just let our students know that we are there for them, even though things can be hard. Personally, I've experienced it and I know so many other people who have, and it's just really important to make sure all of our students are the happiest they can be within obviously limits.
Thank you. Okay, and as a final question, which candidate that's currently running for VP Activity, Voice Support, Community or President has the manifesto that would most excite you if you were part of the same team?
Ooh, that's a really good question, thank you for that. Obviously, I've looked at all the manifestos and I plan to re-watch all of this when it comes to voting, just to make sure I'm voting for the right person.
pretty miserably.
Yeah, they got rid of the Uno role, but.
Every time that I slip, I wanna run away.
Welcome back to Pundit. So I thought that was a really great Team Surrey debate. I think they smashed it. What do you think, Georgina, is different from Team Surrey culture versus someone like Loughborough or Bath?
I think culture, we're doing a really good job of creating that community. I think the fact that Team Surrey is made up of the student union, SSP, as well as the university means that we kind of try and encompass all sides. We want to continue to build that kind of family and that community aspirations. And I think that's probably where we are slightly different in terms of we are looking really from that base participation the whole way up rather than necessarily focusing on one of those levels. One of the obvious differences is money, and actually, the more money and the more space that could be given to physical activity and sport would be incredible. But we still have an amazing facility that would still rank top 10 in the university sector. So we have a really small team as well, which actually deliver the most amazing experience. The Pulse survey just came back and we're still in the top 3. So I think from a Team Surrey perspective, we're doing really well. And actually, if we can continue to kind of galvanise that community feel, whether that's coming to watch sport, just be part of Surrey Moves, go for a walk with your friends. I think that's something that we'll continue to encourage, and I think that's how we're slightly different to those bigger universities.
Absolutely agree. I feel like one of those huge, big community events would absolutely be either Varsity or Kelly's. I think, Alexa, do you want to talk more about Kelly's because you actually started it?
Yeah, so my year seems to have involved a lot of running for someone that doesn't run a lot. So we had the colour run. It was the first year we did that with Team Surrey, and then Kelly's. I think the person that worked at Kelly's now works for university, but in the enterprise team or something. But yeah, she came and said, "Oh, do you think you could advertise the runs that we do, these charity runs at the university?" And I said, "Well, why don't we do one at the university? Because we've got all this space." And we sort of sat down for a coffee, and I mean, Kat, her name was. She's just got amazing enthusiasm, and I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna do well here." So yeah, really great to get people involved with that. And then what was the other one? Oh, we were talking about the Santa run as well. I was involved in that. So yeah, my year seemed to have been full of runs, but obviously whether you run or walk or whatever, you can get involved. And like Georgina was saying, mass participation and getting people just up and moving is like absolutely important. It's the sort of cornerstone of a healthy, happy campus.
Absolutely. And Charlie, what's been your involvement with Varsity, bringing that Surrey spirit into Varsity, having people watch and play?
Yeah, so I would love to say that I was the main person, but it was actually my colleague within Team Surrey. But in terms of what Varsity looks like, I think it was my first home Varsity last year, and having the activity zone outside and the work that went into it so that you could be outside, go into one of the great vendors that the catering team bring across, and been able to watch on the big screen outdoors in the festival zone, carry on watching volleyball, was a really special moment last year. But I think with Varsity and finishing it off at the end in Arena A and B with the franchise setup was pretty epic last year. I think 1,000 people in one place, all screaming for Team Surrey. I mean, what a way to do it, and what a way to finish off Varsity with a big win as well. I think that's definitely got to be one of the highlights of working here, is just the spirit behind it and the fact that it doesn't matter what sport it was, it had a crowd and it had everybody cheering for it, and everybody was supporting each other. I don't know how much has grown over the few years, but it was pretty epic, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Bringing back to you to the debates.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the VP Activity Debate, David Dobrovolsky.
Anyway, we are at the VP Activity Debate, the final debate of the night. You know, VP Activity, one of the full-time paid roles of the union, trustee, and in charge of clubs and societies. So clubs and societies, if you've got any complaints, this is the one to listen to. And now I would like to welcome the candidates.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for VP Activity.
Right, awesome, welcome. So to start off, the standard question, please introduce yourself and why you're running, but I'm adding a little twist. Please also say an achievement that you're proud of as part of a club or society this year. So Ravi, if you want to start.
Hey Rebels, dreamers and all about university students. I'm not here just for you VP Activity. I'm just here as a student who will help you to diminish and just help to get the future of the students and be a leader of the particular sports team. In my vision, university is beyond getting good grades. It's all about achievements and in the sports activity, which makes you a perfect, and because in everyday life, people are performing and just getting achievements. And if you want to be a good sportsman, you want to be a professional, you will get all these things and add up and will just be a perfect in your future.
Thank you. Right. And now Josh.
Hello everyone, so I'm Josh, final year sport and exercise science student, and I want to be your VP activity because I'm passionate about Surrey. My 4 years here, I've been about everything Surrey, whether that's engaging with clubs, my course, just the whole general vibe, whether it's doing that extra mile, whether it's 24 hours at SSP. I like doing it all, and I'm committed to Surrey. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. And I'd say my one proudest achievement would definitely be this year, in seeing the doubling in Movember, not only just clubs, but also societies, and overall having probably one of our best years for Movember in a long time. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
For this year, my achievement is, like, I have been the rookie of the racing team, in which I was just ranked 10th. As well as in rifle, I was like in Bucks tournament, is 13th ranked in all over UK.
Awesome, thank you. And with that, we're going to go straight into manifesto questions. And I'm going to start with you, Josh. And I was going to ask, if elected as VP activity, you'll be in charge of clubs and societies, as I mentioned. But you'll also be overseeing the union opportunities for students to be active outside of the academic lives. The union, and the union's employability work. Your manifesto leans quite heavily towards sports, though. And so I would like you to explain a bit more what you want to do more generally for students' activity and employability.
Certainly. So obviously it's difficult coming in from an unbiased opinion, being within Team Surrey due to my heavy background in sport. But activities such as whether it's a open day pop-up, simply just going on a Surrey Moves walk, it's all those little things that you can get involved with just so people can participate. Like it's a big thing within obviously my degree, but obviously like exercise is medicine, and I'll say this again later, but it's just things like this. It's not just about being engaged physically and like in the exercise, it's about just socializing as well. So even if that's going out for a coffee with your society or going to Alex's cafe, it's these small things that you do as a club and society that we can help expand to the wider population. So, and that's including like the different locations on campus and off campus.
Awesome, thank you. And Ravi, you talked about expanding recognition platforms at events like Colours Ball and Union Ball. The whole idea of these events is to recognize student successes. Additionally, we also have STARS and the Badges program for clubs and societies, and the Citizenship Award run by the community zones throughout the year. So how would you expand on these existing schemes?
Certainly, I will just put a light on my topics. That my manifesto involves the planning and management, interacting with the students as well as the management team, so that I will help them to the students to get what recognition they want to be. So suppose the students who belongs to like a poor family, or they don't have that much money, they won't get recognition because they don't achieve that much of priority in the list because they don't have such support from back. So I would like to just focus more on those students. Will the funding will speak to the management for making the improvement in their livelihood along with this sports activity, which will make them recognized as well recognized in university along with outside of the university also.
Awesome, thank you. Well, on that topic, you've both already slightly touched on this actually, but I was going to ask you about mental health and well-being, because you both touched on it in your manifesto, and I wanted to hear more about practical steps, how you would improve and promote mental health and well-being in clubs and societies, and also outside of clubs and societies.
Certainly. So like one thing, so this is something I've been thinking about regarding Movember, but I'd like to incorporate a sit and sip. So essentially it's just in Harry's bar, and it's just a little organized event where we just come in, have a drink, doesn't even need to be alcoholic, and we just talk, you know. It's just about understanding how each of us are feeling, you know, the stresses of our day, whether we're struggling in university or as a club, because then we can help within those clubs and get the clubs involved. But it's also about just working with VP support in their manifesto points and what they want to achieve, whether it's physical activity on campus or like the sensory room. It's just helping find those little bits and just being, I'm going to help support you.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. So, and Ravi, would you like to answer as well?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to just put focus on this. So, people are stressing because of the financial issues they're facing because of daily life. Their financials are increasing. There are also some Orthodox families they belongs to. They won't come up because of some narrow thinking, and sometimes because they won't feel shy, they won't feel bad about themselves. Other people will know about them. So in order to just overcome from these issues, I would like to just speak to VP support as well as well-being officers to help those people. I will just try to figure out what the issue they are actually facing. I will just help them with fundraising, or will help with the sponsorship with those students. Along with that, it's not like only those students, with other students who also very much activated in sports, but they lost some matches. They thought like, oh, this is the end of the world. But not. Definitely not. We would like to try them to just much harder, just influence. We will try them to just go into society competition so that they will boost their morale, so that it will be quite healthy for them and also as universities in the future.
Awesome. Thank you. You're both doing amazing. So very well. It's quite tough to be up here. So I just want to have maybe a big round of applause for both the candidates. Amazing. So continuing with some general questions, beyond just leading student activities and participation, the VP activity is also on the trustee board, as I mentioned earlier, which is the highest board of the union, where all the decisions have to go through. And so I'd like to hear you two say, what are 3 qualities that you would say you could bring to this trustee board if elected? And Ravi, if you want to start.
I will bring a holistic and strategic vision in the role of VP activity. I would like to just make a bridge between a student as well as management team. I would like to just propose some natural process like for student scholarship, for funding raising for the students who are good in sports but not that much of grade. So they feels like I want to focus on grades rather than focusing on students. But I would try to speak to the trustee members as well as management that they would give in some extra credit points, because they are just giving their more times in sports, and they are just like a acknowledged point for the university as well as for the outside of the university. There are a few more things like I would like to propose for like Team Surrey app, where you will see the students who are getting definitely boosted up for the prospects, like they are getting medals, getting prizes in box competition, different competitions. They will get moral boost. They will get recognized from other peoples also. So these are the few things which I would like to propose in initial stage, and later we'll see on what we're going to do.
Amazing, thank you. And Josh?
Could you just repeat, was it like 3 qualities?
Yeah, so 3 qualities you would say you would want to bring to the union trustee board.
Certainly. So I'd say I'm very motivated and determined. So these issues that students face, I'd be at the forefront and making sure that we're not just standing down from them, such as like reclaiming Surrey Sports Park, like Liam wants to do. But it's other things like just there's small bits. It's just making sure that we don't back down, just be like, oh, no, yeah, go ahead, you can do what you want to do. It's making sure that the students are at the forefront. Also a good listener, so listening to what students want and need and taking that in, and also listening to the Board of Trustees and saying, okay, they can't do this, but can they do this? And obviously negotiating as well, I'd say, but yeah.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we've got another round of manifesto questions. Ravi, you mentioned committee training in your manifesto. Well, it's a very important meeting. There's a lot of important information that has to be conveyed, and it's often being described as quite dense as well. So it's quite difficult to make the content really fun and engaging. It's also not the first time a candidate has said they want to improve the training. What do you think of doing differently to what others have tried to do?
Yeah, certainly. I would just like to say that So there are like competitions between the inter-state, society competition. If I would get proposed, if I would just be a VP activity, I would just propose them just inter-society competition, which will just help them just moral based. They know each other, the students. They will got interest in, because like some people's like some societies are for abacus, some society are for rifle. If they will got interest, then abacus might be going to rifle, as well as rifle go to abacus. So in this, the students get moral support, as well as thinking of beyond what they are actually thinking of themselves. So I would like to propose more like have to competition between other universities, which will help them to just take challenges, which will help them. And also I would like to just put extra advanced training for them from the experts from outside, which will help them as well as help in the mental as well as personal states of mind.
Okay, thank you. And Josh, you have talked about union buddy system. Not the first time I'm hearing the union buddy system tonight as well. Have you thought about how such system would work with societies and clubs who may have their own buddy systems?
Yeah, so currently the buddy system, I'd say, doesn't work the best, partially because it will go to one person, then another person, and then to, say, the activators and well-being champions. However, I'd like to centralize it so that all of the activity zone can access it, so that they can see, oh, this person wants to try out badminton, and then we put them straight in contact with the activator or well-being champion of badminton. And then obviously, if there's other clubs and societies that are already doing this buddy system and it's working well, just talking to them and finding out what works for them, whether it's just having a Microsoft form and they just put in their information, or they've got people that actively go out at Freshers' Fair and whatnot and see people that are maybe a bit more reserved, but sort of checking out the stall and then seeing where they go from there to just captivate the students and actually get them in. But yeah, so that's about it really.
See, so you've put that point, is the mic on? You put that point under accessibility. Oh, there you go. And I just wanted to ask how exactly that would actually improve accessibility.
So essentially, one of the barrier there is the social barriers of being too afraid to join in with the club. So having the buddy system would help those students that are a bit more frightened and worried about coming into sport or society life. Like myself, so I've wanted to try so many different societies before falling at the last hurdle of I don't know anybody there, I don't feel like I'll fit in. But it's that little thing of having somebody that comes out of their way to contact them that will essentially bring them in. Because obviously we talk about like barriers of like being financial or like the actual disability side, but like the social side is equally as big, and I feel like that puts off a lot more students than just being able to afford them, because there's so many different ways that we can help.
Awesome, thank you. And now we have a surprise twist, I would like to say. May I ask for the Circle of Crisis? Thank you very much. So this here is the Circle of Crisis. As VP Activity, you do have a strong team around you to respond to different situations, but you might not always be able to rely on your team, and sometimes you have to come up with solutions to crises yourself, and quite quickly. So each color on this wheel represents a different scenario, and we'll do a couple of rounds maybe, and we'll go through the scenarios, which some of them are based on things that have previously happened, some of them less so, but I would like to hear your solutions to the crisis that will follow. And do you want to go first?
Yeah, do I get to spin it?
If you want to.
He's spinning the wheel.
Ooh, green. Yeah. Right, that was the first one on my list. So, a pipe has burst in the Union building and and flooded the society storage room with sewage. Countless equipment stored there and essential to many societies has been rendered unusable. With the union budget already being tight, especially after the repairs, how are you going to make sure that societies are still able to keep running, even with the loss of all their equipment?
So first off, I'd account for what equipment they've lost. So it could be anything from simply just leaflets that they'd hand out at Freshers' Fair, or it could be a whole drum kit that they need to survive, or even, like, say, for other societies, a 3D printer. If, it's about working out what we've got and what we need to recuperate, working out if they've got any budget that they can sort of foot the bill first, and then we help them get that money back. And then also, if we do have any leeway here and there, it's just about making sure that we can go, here's some money, here's some money. Obviously, money doesn't grow on trees, but it's just about making sure that we manage the money effectively, but also ensure that all societies get equal amount, rather than just essentially going, here's all this, and then all the others don't get anything. It's just making sure we manage it effectively.
Awesome, thank you very much. Rami, would you like to take a spin? Ooh, it would be awkward if we landed on green again, wouldn't it? Well, blue. Yeah, light blue. Last on my list. It's nice. So, it's varsity, and the union is hosting. There's been a mix-up with the timetable, and there are too many people trying to use the changing rooms at the same time. There won't be time for all the teams to get ready before their matches, and several of the captains are really unhappy. What would you do?
Absolutely. The thing is that I'll just go for the priority for changing the things. So women's come first, as well as after that the guys, and as well as depends on the priority, what the priority first comes up. If the match is first, then according to that I will just ask the people to just come up with their changing rooms and do the games.
Awesome, thank you very much. And I think we've got time for another round, so Josh? Ooh, dark blue. Oh no, an unprecedented financial crisis has hit the world. For whatever reason, that could happen. Inflation in the UK is rampant, and the university is severely struggling with money. They have dramatically cut funding to the union, and the union now cannot afford to fund all their activities, especially clubs and societies. Some clubs and societies rely on this funding to run. How will you respond?
That's a tough one. Oh, God. Essentially, I guess we'd work out what we've got already, whether this money is needed for transport or it's actually needed for the actual upkeep of the club. Do these clubs have their own money again that they can also help? But say, essentially, yeah, it's just, I guess it's just about working out what they've got, what we've got, what we can do, what they can still do, and how much they can operate as a normal club. Obviously, like we've seen it with coronavirus, how clubs change differently, and then obviously now cost of living crisis. It's all about just working out how can we ensure that these clubs and societies still work to their best, but also what can we do to help them, and then, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Ravi? Ooh, what are the chances? None of the colors have repeated itself. So, what is that? Purple or violet? Same thing. Right. An error has happened with the booking systems, and two different clubs and societies have booked the same minibus for the same day. One of the societies booked the bus for a big social that they have been planning for months and have already paid a deposit for, while the club needs their transport for its weekly training session. To make matters worse, the coaches of one of the teams of another club that's going to Bucks has cancelled last minute. Now all three groups are trying to reach out to you, asking for the minibus. And how are you going to resolve this conflict?
So the main thing is, like, Bucks is far more important than the regular competition because that's all about the university. And so for me, from my point of view, I will just prefer the Bucks Bucks competition far more better than just visual competitions or for usual practice moments. So I would prefer them first rather than them.
Awesome, thank you. And that was the Circle of Crises. Now, do we have any questions from the audience, maybe? I think, oh, there's two hands. There's one hand in the back, that was first, and then we go down here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good. I was just going to ask, recently there's been a bit of backlash from students around sports specifically designed for disabled students. How would you respond to this, and would you consider cutting it, or would you consider cutting other things to prioritise that?
So recently there's been some backlash around, please correct me if I say that wrong, but there's been some backlash around sports specifically designed for students with disabilities. So how would you react to this backlash? Is that correctly summarized?
Yeah,
yeah, there you go. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So as per like you're asking for disabilities, am I right? You're looking for disabilities, how I'm going to come up with some ideas for the disabilities sportsmen.
No, there's been some sports that have been specifically designed for students with disabilities,
okay.
And there's been some backlash to the union doing more of these sports. So how would you respond to that
I
backlash?
really not support for these type of backlash because they're also human. They also like good futures. They also want to make, because they are just like special peoples. So if we won't support them, then who will support them? We are a human mankind, and we will need to support them by any means. We don't have to care about the backlash and all, but we come forward and just help them. What sorts of things we can just help with those peoples.
Awesome, thank you, Josh. Oh, sorry.
Short answer: no. I wouldn't cut any disability sport. I think they're essential, especially the sport that I know that you're talking about. Also means quite a lot to me. So yeah, but yeah, so I think all sport, everybody should be able to access it. Obviously that's a big part of mine with accessibility. But yeah, so these disabled sports and being able to participate in any way that they can is it's unique, and why should we take this away from them and their university experience? It's not only just for us, it's for them. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. We also had a question down here, Mel.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me both. So in the past years, the person who is VP Activity has had a strong preference to clubs over societies. As VP Activity, that should be an equal priority. How are you going to ensure, if elected, that societies are treated the same way clubs are?
Thank you. So yeah, how are you gonna make sure you treat societies and clubs equally with what they deserve? We'll start with Josh this time.
So, I mean, it's always going to be difficult, especially as I'm such a sports person. But it's all about ensuring the balance. It's not just always being about there for the club events. It's being about there for the society events, whether that's recognizing them for when they've gone above and beyond, which is something I'd like to incorporate, whether it's the Team Surrey Club of the Month or the Students' Union Society of the Month. It's about ensuring that they both get their recognition, but it's not just favoured. It's, societies make up a huge portion of our students, so why should we be ignoring them? But at the same time, our clubs also make up a fairly decent size of our students, so we shouldn't be ignoring them. It's just finding that nice middle ground where we can ensure that they all get on happily and there's no issues.
Absolutely, Joe said rightly. I would like to add some points like, say, everyone has different abilities and capabilities to perform and to just work and just play. So who we are to just take their speciality, like we are differentiate that we should give priority to this sports and that sports, but we would just emphasize that focus on like to all the societies equally. We will fund them according to the priorities also, but we more focus on the like some problems, some sorts of issues, like some sports events, some society needs more money because of their expenses. So we have to prioritize and we have to put according to that money to the society. But we won't differentiate between the societies with respect to their capabilities.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Now, a question that's come up for a couple of years now. Varsity is coming up. And as you may know, Surrey has won for 11 straight years against Royal Holloway. Time to get good. Is it time for a new opponent? Sorry. Ravi, would you like to start?
Could you just repeat 1 second, please?
So Varsity's coming up, the big, our big competition. And we have won against our rival, Royal Holloway, for 11 straight years. Do you think it's time for a new opponent?
Absolutely. See, every time we want to change our limits, we want to change our bar. So 11 years is too much. I think so every year we need to change our opponents. Because we know that Surrey are best. And we know wherever the university will come, we will be the best. So we don't care about who will come in.
Awesome. Great to hear. Josh?
This one's a tricky one, because although people will agree winning is fun, but how many clubs and societies are represented? Not all of them. I for one, know from asking students this year the same exact question, but so many clubs and societies aren't recognised. They've either had their opposition drop out on the day, they've changed their opposition, they've not even turned up at times. It's unfair for those students. And some people may go, oh, it's our tradition. It's not. We've had other varsity opponents in the past. So it's all about just ensuring that we get the right opponent if we do change. So, and yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Right. I'm going to ask you to be brief with your next answer, although it's quite a complicated question. And you both, I think, have already touched on it a little bit. So considering the changes in the student population and the issues affecting students, including many more students commuting to campus rather than living on site, and the current cost of living crisis, students are arguably finding it more difficult to participate in student activities outside of their studies. As VP Activity, how would you help students who find it difficult to take part for financial or practical reasons? Josh?
So financially, essentially, at the beginning of the year, I'd like clubs to highlight the hidden fees of being involved, whether that's their memberships, any costs for uniform, and whatnot. So obviously that's including gym membership and Team Surrey membership, because then this leads on to ensuring students are more aware of the financial hardship funds so that they can come to uni knowing that, okay, this is what I can do to help myself. So when I started uni, I didn't know I could get the Surrey Award, and that wasn't until the end of my first year that I realised I could get it, and then I did. So I'm quite lucky in the sense that I've got that little backing so that I can participate in these additional like extracurricular activities and not have to worry about the financial side, where there's so many other students that don't realise this, same as whether they've bought their gym membership and then that unqualifies them for the accessibility fund within Team Surrey. It's just making sure that they understand how to apply, where to apply, and what they need to do.
Awesome, thank you. And
adding to the point of Josh, I would like to just tell my experience while coming to here. I face numerous problems because Surrey is expensive anyways. But we got like few loopholes, like we got opportunity to get a sponsorship from small businesses. So I would like to just give my experience. I will touch up like if we'll get a small sponsorship from small scale industry, as well as for the experts of other university, we will just collaborate, which helping them. So it will be quite easy for us as well as society members that they don't have to pay, because they have to just have exchange program from the other university that the experts will come to us and our experts will go to them. So we won't have to just pay extra for others experts to hire. Along with this, we will just add some funding things, like we would just speak to students who are rich, or means I'm not saying like those who are rich can donate, but we would ask them to, if they want to help the other students from their funds, so that they will just give a hope to other students to just come up with their strength and stamina. Along with, I would just prospect some scholarship program. That there are many scholarship programs running for the sports personalities, sports students, who will help the students to just come up from the initial stage till the last stage. Because as they are the face for the university, everyone wants to just win. Everyone wants to just, okay, he's just working for the university. Why won't we will help them, and we will also part of that winning team? That's all. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we've got another round of manifesto questions. Josh, as current Team Surrey chair, you've already been part of the activity zone for the past year. How would you describe your direct impact on clubs this year, and what do you think you could have done more?
I'd say straight away, just making them aware of the activity zone support that they can get, whether it's through funding for essential things, just being there as well, just being an extra hand. You know, I've had quite a few questions from clubs where they've gone, don't understand this, what does it mean? And then I've just clarified it for them. It's just that whole year of just being a part of something and just showing my face, like, you know, so they've got, oh, there's Josh, I can go talk to him if they need to, and just seeing that I'm there, really. But yeah.
Awesome. How would you, what do you think some of the shortcomings were, and how would you improve with them? Or what could you have done more?
I'd say working with the RAG chair more. Obviously part of my manifesto was the volunteering and community side within the clubs. Yes, I say I'd hit that through November, but the rest of the year it's just been unfortunate that I haven't actually been able to hit these targets and, you know, help ensure that clubs and societies are fundraising on their own accord, but also giving them the support they need to fundraise. So yeah, that would be my shortcoming, I'd say, for the year.
Thank you. And Ravi, you obviously haven't been part of the union officer team so far. So how would you compensate for that? And what new ideas do you think you can bring to the union?
So exactly, the thing is that being a part of this officer is not all about. I have a previous experience in which I was undergrad, I was a general secretary as well as president. I was hosted president. So I would utilize that experience of my undergrad to be here, and just will just come up with different kind of unique perspective of my mind and use in the current scenario. That will what will help in, like, for goods for many ages.
Awesome, thank you. So, we're coming up to the last question of the debate, but before we go, I'm going to give you an opportunity to leave us with one lasting impression. In one sentence, tell us why students should vote for you to be their next VP activity. Josh?
I should be your next VP activity because I am committed to you, Surrey, and everyone, and about making your experience the best it can be, whether that's within clubs, societies, or just your general day-to-day activities. So yeah.
Thank you.
The students should vote me because of I bring a holistic and a strategic vision in the role of VP activity. Along with my extensive experience, what we have in the past, I would utilize all my brains, all my things. Along with, I will break the student barrier which they feel like we are from Orthodox family, we are from this family. So I would like to break all those things, and I will just to come up with the few other solution in which the things I will tell them that it's not all about grades, it's about achievements, it's about unforgettable experience, what they're going to feel when they will be in sports. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for the final question. You'll be working very closely with whoever is elected union president. But I do not want you to mention any names. Instead, I want you to mention what qualities you are looking for in the president.
Someone that's determined, hardworking, a listener, supportive, a leader, someone that can set me in the right path if I am VP activity, but also ensuring that I get my tasks done whilst also helping be a team, really.
Thank you.
I would like to see the positive attitude to come up with every solution. It's not like bias towards the men, women, or it's not about the transgenders or any other specific. And also, it's not biased towards white, black, or brown peoples. I would like to just see that every person is equal, every person gets equal opportunity in everywhere. That's what all I'm thinking of.
Awesome, thank you. I can see our two president candidates in the crowd. I hope they were taking notes. But yeah, this concludes our debate for VP activity. Can I have a big round of applause for our amazing candidate? So thank you very much to both of you. You've been amazing. Please do come along for our voice zone and union chair and presidential debate tomorrow, so the biggie one. And thank you very much for coming tonight, and thank you for you two being on stage, and thank you to stage crew and everyone involved. And back to Pundit's Corner for some closing thoughts, and thank you very much for...
Back to Pundits. So I thought that was a brilliant VP activity debate, really, really courageous, got lots of ideas. Amy, what's one thing that you really want the VP activity to continue next year?
One is difficult, so I'm going to have to go with two. I would definitely say something around diversity, because something we've recognised for quite some time now is that the university count of students from WP groups or diverse backgrounds is not reflected in Team Surrey. So I would love to see the Vice President of Activity do something about that next year. And I guess one event that I would like them to do is the female takeover. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And what do you think, what challenges does the VP activity have to face? And what was your favourite part of being VP activity in your year?
Oh, challenges. So I was saying, Amy, because you've had the same experience, it's the amount of emails that you get as VP activity, because you can think about all the sports and societies that you've got, and anyone that's even been a signatory of one of those might be inundated with emails themselves. But when you're the top of that tree, whew, it comes thick and fast. But in terms of what I enjoyed, I just loved it. I loved the whole year. I loved the... Now that I reflect on it, it's an opportunity that you will never get again. You will never get to come with amazing ideas, and you know there was some real innovation in some of those responses. I'm really excited to see what whoever gets elected sort of comes up with. But you will never be in a position again where everyone around you listens to your ideas and goes, yeah, here's how we're going to help you and here's how we're going to make it happen. I was saying to these guys earlier, you come into the sort of corporate world and you've got to write a business case if you want to do anything, and you know there's not the enthusiasm behind you and the support necessarily. So it's just an incredible year where you really can make it what you want.
Absolutely, yeah. I think one of the things that I really enjoyed was the scenario questions. I think that really leads on to my next question of, do you think SSP can accommodate the demands it faces with all the clubs and societies that really want to book things, whether it be charity events, training?
I think obviously we'd love more space if we could, but SSP is just a building, and I think we need to continue to look at Team Surrey as this much bigger thing than just SSP. So like I said earlier, Team Surrey is SSP, is the student union, is the university, and actually we've got loads of space on campuses that we should be using. So whether that is Patsfield, who knows, what other space we could use in terms of running some of our societies and clubs. So yeah, I think SSP, we would love it to grow, and we will continue to use as much of the utilisation as we can to do what we can to best support all students. But I do think, yeah, Team Surrey is a far bigger thing than just SSP.
Absolutely. And Charlie, what do you think, what kind of elite sports are really recognisable at Surrey?
Oh, what elite sports? Well, we've got several, but I think obviously you've got rugby there with Harlequins, all the big rugby players walking around the sports park every day. But I think most notably this year was with the rowing room being instated and utilising almost the space that we already had. So the pavilion that, in the middle of the training pitches got changed into the rowing room. Now that's got to be an epic space to be in. I know you can hear them when you're walking past, and like how loud they are in there. So hopefully it continues to be reflective in their performance at Bucks Head that's been this weekend. So yeah, that's just to name two. Obviously you've got the swimmers as well. They do a really great job in terms of being at that elite tier and currently at their Bucks event and doing really well. But then also reflecting that across the entire pyramid, working with some of our guys who come to the Learn 2 sessions as well. So yeah, that's just to name a few of the elite sports that we've got. But yeah.
Brilliant. And Amy, what are some of the underrated sports that you really want to highlight?
There's definitely two, at least. And I would say pickleball and korfball. And if anybody wants to play, you can play pickleball on Sundays between 1 and 2 at SSP. Maybe go for a bit of a break at pitchside, grab a coffee, and then return back for korfball from 5 o'clock.
Absolutely. And Alexa, what's one advice that you would give to the next VP activity?
One piece of advice. Stay on top of your emails.
No, I absolutely love that. And Georgina, can you give us some insight on what Team Surrey are really doing to separate that undergraduate and postgraduate events for our students? And is there a more focus on undergraduates?
I think we shouldn't separate them, if anything, and actually we should be being as inclusive as possible. I think we need to work much closer in understanding what the students want, and if there is a difference, then we should be able to cater for that. So actually I think it's about learning more, using more insight and more data to be student-driven. We want to deliver the best possible student experience we can, and actually we need to talk to more students to be able to do that. But ideally, we make everything as inclusive as possible.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us at Pundit. Please come back for tomorrow for our last question time, night 3, which is our reunion chair and president debates. Thank you. Good night.